Hello and welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all my crafty adventures. Today is May 26th, 2023, and this is episode 60. I'd like to say welcome to all my new subscribers. I noticed there has been a few subscribers recently, and I jumped up from hovering around 90 to over 100 subscribers, which is just amazing. I can't even believe it. So thank you so much for subscribing. I hope you enjoy the content that I put out on this channel and all my crafty adventures. What else? Oh, you probably would like to know who I am. I would also like to thank my returning subscribers because I couldn't have I don't even know how to say it. I couldn't have gotten here without you guys. Anyway, I'm getting all misty now. It's just really special that I've gotten over 100. I think it's amazing. 60 episodes, like it's just all the big numbers. And I know it's been a few weeks since I recorded. Life is lifey sometimes, and but I'm here now and I have lots to show you. So make sure you have a good knitting project and some water or some tea or something. It's going to be a long one. I can feel it. So let's get into it. My name is Roz and I live in Lake Country, British Columbia, Canada with my husband and my two kids who are 13 and 11. And on this episode today, I have what am I wearing, finished objects, works in progress, next on my needles, some events, and some chatter. Let's get started, shall we? What am I wearing? Today I am wearing one of my foolproof cowls, and this is the second one that I made, and this was made in 2018. The foolproof pattern is by Louise Zasbangham. It is a double looped cowl, and you knit it on the bias, and you basically have no ends to weave in besides your cast off edge where you kind of connect it all. So super awesome. You can make whatever striping pattern. I'm just holding my chest up here. You can see I've got kind of random stripes going on, and use up whatever yarn you want, thick, thin, whatever. I've done mine in a sport weight, fingering weight. These are singles. And then the other ones were two sock yarns that I used, but you could do it in DK. She has lots. She has like a set striping pattern if you're not into the willy-nilly stripes like I am. But yeah, you could easily do it. This would be a great project to use a dice to roll how many stripes you use in each section for each color kind of thing. She has lots of tips on how to make that work. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop gushing about the pattern now because I have lots to get through today. The other thing I wanted to talk about in this section, it's not something I'm currently wearing, but it is something that my daughter, who is 11, her name is Taylor, and I knit her a little dress. It's like a cotton and cashmere kind of chainette yarn. The yarn is Louisa Harding Yarns Cashmere DK and Peach. My notes are over here today, so you're gonna see me looking over there a lot. Okay, so it's in this peachy color. I made this cute little toddler dress when she was like 2, but I never finished it because I just didn't know how I was gonna close it. I just didn't have the experience to figure out how to do it. It had instructions in the pattern, but I didn't really like it. And it was, I don't know. I have a picture of her. I will put a picture of her as a toddler in this dress. It is unfinished and she's a toddler, so she's not sitting nicely. But anyway, I have a picture of her in the dress. I was going through my basket of things, and you would have seen that. I believe it is in one of my daily April vlogs. I kind of went through all my like mending and fixing, finishing things to figure out, and I had kind of, it was all in my gift basket, which isn't a great place. So now you can't see it because it's off screen up here, but I have just my finished objects that are ready to be gifted in one basket. And then I have mended or ripped out anything that didn't fit or needed fixing, except for, which is up here, but also you can't see it because it's way up high, my R&R hoodie. I still haven't put the zipper in. That is the only thing left out of the mending basket that I haven't finished yet. So I'm a little scared to do it still. I just need to sit down and do it, I think, is what needs to happen, but I'll do it. Anyway, back to Taylor's dress. It is now a top for her. So I'll put in a picture of her wearing it now. She saw it. I said, do you think this would even fit on you now? Jokingly thinking like, there's no way. But she's such a skinny mini that it actually does fit, and it looks kind of cute as a top. So anyway, here's a picture. I will have put in a picture of her wearing it now, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know it doesn't really fit into any section, but I wanted to share that with you guys. You know, those things that you think nobody is ever going to wear this, maybe there is somebody out there who would wear it. So, oh, and the pattern is called Little Sister's Dress by Tara Forsyth. The O has an O with a slash through it. I don't know how to say that, so I'm just going to go with that. That's it for what am I wearing. Let's move on to finished objects. First up for finished objects, I have a hat. You would have seen this one on the last podcast. This is kind of my just basic round and roundy knitting. This pattern is Musselburgh by Isolde Teague. I have made quite a few of these. This is the Aran weight, which is kind of the biggest that she provides in that pattern. And I wouldn't go much thicker than this because it is double weight. I'll show you in a second. But yeah, so you can fold up the brim or not. And then it is also, so it's double thick in that it is reversible. So this side is just these creamy kind of color and lighter gray and darker gray, which you can see on this side. So you can fold it up so you get a tiny splash of purple, or you could fold it up so that you don't really see any of the purple, or you could just wear it like this. This top section is actually from a different colorway, which I will show you in a second, which is why you can see the yellow splotches in it. But I think it goes just fine. Somebody will like this. Most likely the purple will be the outside with just a bit of gray. I think this is probably how it will be worn most of the time. So yeah. This yarn is a Caron Big Cake in the grape jelly colorway. And the last little bit that I used for the top is from this colorway. And I've finished a whole other Musselburgh hat in this colorway. So this one is the honey glazed. So it's got this yellow, cream, gray, and then I'll flip it so you can see the other colors. And then from the gray, it goes into this orange. Ooh, that's that. I'll just show you the other side. This orange, and then back into the yellow, bit of cream on the top of this one. So I think it's super fun though. I think it'd be a fun hat for somebody. Mike has a cowl out of this yarn, so I might see if he wants this one. This is the adult large size, so it is a bit bigger than this one. Can't really tell. But I'll see if he wants that one to match his ski cowl. All right. That is it for the hats, those hats at least. And now I have 3 projects that you have not seen, that I have not talked about, that are off my needles already. Okay, so I showed in my April vlogs, if you watched them, some leg warmers that I made for Taylor. And I will put in a picture here of the leg warmers. When she was a baby, I put her in leg warmers a lot because her legs were so skinny, pants just did not stay up. And so I would just put her in some tights and some leg warmers, and she would be a lot happier because she could still move around freely, but still be warm because she's thin little toothpick legs. Anyway, so I ripped those out because she wasn't wearing them anymore, and they were a little snug, to be honest, and I knit a cowl. Okay, so this is like super, super long. I can't even fit the whole thing on screen. But I think it turned out super, super great. I want to show these colors. They are like a muted neon, and they kind of pooled and then kind of didn't pool. You can see that really right here. So like it was kind of pooling for a bit, and then it totally went wonky, which is fine because you wrap it up and you're just going to see the overall color of it. You're not going to see where it kind of got chunky. So I think it's great. This pattern is Autopilot by Dominique Trad, and she has a whole series of these cowls. This is a worsted weight yarn, and I think there is a DK weight one and maybe a chunkier one, maybe a thinner one. I don't know, but it was a super intuitive pattern, easy to figure out. You know, like when I had a certain amount of yarn left is when I bound off, and yeah, it worked out great. And this yarn is Yarn Ink, and this is their merino worsted, and I don't know what the color is, electric something. It'll be on the screen somewhere at some point. It will also be in my notes, which will be down below in the description box. So there we go. Finished cowl. Ooh, I hope I didn't bump my mic there. Okay, so that one's finished. Next up, sorry, I have too many things here, too many things going on. I have been on a bit of a mission to use up my oldest stash. You would have seen the hat that I was knitting out of the Oyama alpaca farm yarn that I ripped out because it wasn't working with the pattern. Anyway, some of my other oldest stash is some leftovers from a mystery felted bag along that I did not a long time ago, before I had children, so at least 13 years ago. You know what? I will put the bag and the details on the screen. I don't remember what it was called. The lady's name was Sharon, but I don't remember any other details. So I'll put a picture of the felted bag. But I bought the kit from her website for the mystery bag along, and then knitted the bag and felted it, and the bag is great. Taylor actually swiped it because of course she did. But I had like a ton of leftovers, but little bits in some of the colors. So the largest bit was in a purple color, and then there was some blue, brown, and like a mustardy yellow color. Anyway, so I've been trying to figure out what to do with this, and I finally figured it out, and I made something. Now, it's still a bit damp, so I'm not going to put it on, but this is the Nordic Trail vest. So it's got this lovely little lace detail on the front. The back has this beautiful lace panel. And then I use the blue for the sleeves and the collar and the hem. So the pattern is Nordic Trail by Elizabeth Smith. And it was great. She's got quite a few sizes on there. I didn't swatch because I didn't really have yarn to swatch, and I didn't want to wash it and then rip it out, and then anyway, so I just went with it. I think it's a bit snug. Once it's dry later today, I will take some video and maybe I'll insert it here while I'm talking. So that's the Nordic Trail vest. And I'm really excited about the idea of having just a little something warm that I can kind of keep my body warm, but keeping my arms open so I don't overheat. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it will live on my chair at work, which is at home, but maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be more of an everyday wear piece. But yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with it. I'm going to lay it out again because I want it to dry. But yeah, when I tried it on before I washed it, it was a little snug, which is fine. And then, so I've washed it now, and I'm pretty sure it's relaxed a little bit. The yarn that I used for that is Universal Yarn Deluxe Chunky. I have no idea what the colors are, but there's a purple and a blue. And then while I had the rest of those left, I knit a hat. That's the wrong side. You don't need to see where the join is. So it looks really small, but like when I put it on, it fits good. Anyway, so I had 2 balls of the brown, 2 balls of the yellow, and a tiny bit of blue left. So I just made it into a hat. So this is the same, now my fuzzies are getting everywhere. This is the same yarn, the Universal, what did I say? Universal Yarn Deluxe Chunky. Yeah. And this hat is the Super Soft Merino Hat for Everyone by Pearl Soho. It is a very basic hat pattern. I didn't change sizes for the ribbing. It's just going to be a hat for somebody. It'll go in the gift bin and somebody will enjoy it. So, okay, just double checking. That is all of my finished objects. And we will move on to works in progress. My first work in progress is my Tits Up socks. So this is a pattern by Nancy Wheeler, and she donated, I want to say, to the Breast Cancer Foundation, and maybe something else, I can't remember, for this pattern. So I scooped it up right away so that I was supporting that. And yeah, and then I couldn't resist and I cast on and I have an almost completed sock. I really should have my sock blockers, but I don't. So I just need to kitchen under the toe. I finished it last night. So yeah, you can see this lovely, lovely pattern. Yeah, and I messed up a couple places. I'm not going to rip it back. It's going to be on my feet. This beautiful yarn, you can see the lovely speckles, but I think it looks great in the cable as well, is Fireweed Fiber Co. in her Sweet Pea sock. And now I'm going to forget which month it is. This was the November 2022 Yarn Club, which was part of the Star Trek series. And this is Crystalline Entity. Yeah, so there's her. Fireweed Fiber Co. I'm part of her sock club again this year. This year is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, and so the mini came with it. It's been a long time since I've done a heel flap and gusset, so it worked out good. Just a slip stitch heel flap, and she does like a more rounded toe, so I'm going to see how that works. I did do the toe a little bit differently in that I did 2 rows of the contrast, 2 rows of the main, and then the toe in the contrast. In the pattern, it just says to do 2 rows of contrast and then do the toe in the main color. But I have lots of it, and I think it looks really good. So there we go, the Tits Up socks. So I got to kitchen the toe and cast on the next one so I don't get any second sock syndrome. And I took notes. I have my row counter on my phone, so I should get 2 perfectly matching socks, even though I didn't do them 2 at a time, which I normally do. But and I am using Magic Loop. I've got some Knit Picks needles, my go-to sock needles. So I am getting really good at that cable pattern, guys. I'm still not doing it without a cable needle, but I'm getting there. Okay, so Tits Up socks by Nancy Wheeler, amazing pattern. You should go check it out. Next up, I have a hat. So as I mentioned before, and I've talked about in previous episodes, I'm trying to use up my oldest stash, and which is not preventing me from casting on with other projects as well. I just want to have at least one oldest stash project on the go at all times so that I can use up some of my old stash and make way for new stash, because I'm sure I'll be buying some yarn this summer. So I started another hat. So this is out of the gray yarn that is from what used to be a local alpaca farm. So this is 100% alpaca. And I didn't want to use it for socks because alpaca gets very droopy. Not drapey, but droopy. So I really didn't want to use it for socks. And it didn't have any like nylon or silk or any sort of stability in it. So anyway, long story short on that one, I tried a hat pattern that was meant for light fingering weight, but this was even thinner than that. It wasn't working with the pattern. I didn't feel like the lace and cable pattern was very intuitive. So I was having a really hard time memorizing it, even though because it was like 16 rows. So it was like I really had to pay attention every single row, and I had to have my computer up with my knit companion. And for like a hat, it just felt like too much. And it wasn't working with the yarn. It was really see-through. So what I've done is I actually found a sport weight pattern and held it double. So you can see I've got 2 strands going there, and I think it's turning out super. Is it focusing? I think so. Yeah, so this is the Loch hat pattern by Tin Can Knits. So I did just 1x1 ribbing at the bottom and then straight into the lace pattern. It's kind of nice because you get a lace pattern row and then just a plain row where you knit the knits and purl the purls. So it's a lot easier to keep track of. There is definitely, each row is different, but you can see the pattern. If you can kind of look, like you can see where it's going, and it's definitely intuitive. So I'm enjoying this a lot. It smells like campfire because I took it camping last weekend. Oh, so good. And I'm okay with that. All right, that is it for works in progress. We'll move on to next on my needles. The first pattern that I want to talk about is called Bunimals, and it's by Barbara Prime. And you see all these fun fluorescents right here and this light gray? I am going to make some cute little animal stuffies as our mascots for our trip this summer. And I haven't figured exactly which ones I'm going to make yet because there's a few different options in the pattern, but basically all their tummies are going to be this gray or maybe that gray. I don't know, depending on how much I have. And then I'm going to make 4 little cute animals that we can put in the truck and we can take them out to places and take pictures with them or whatever. So if you want to know more about my summer plans, I will be talking about it some in the chatter segment, or you can check out my previous podcasts. Yes, anyway, so they're very cute. They're basically just like a little round ball with some ears and some eyes. So it should be fun. And the other thing that I have wound up and ready to go and just have not casted on yet is another pair of Dream Fingerless mitts. So I test knit this pattern for my friend Marsha Healey, and I made a teal pair for myself. That was the first ones I did. And then I made a pair modified for my son because the fingerless mitts come, I'm showing you the yarn too soon, come all the way up to your fingers and then you fold it down, and he wanted it for video gaming, so he didn't want the extra bulk. So I just did it to here. That's how he wanted it. And now I'm knitting a pair for my husband. So I've knit him a pair of socks out of Mustache's Harry Potter colorway. And they got holes in each of the heels because he's very hard on his heels when he walks, which is fine. I fixed them. They're still totally wearable, but he was really sad. And I managed to get a couple years ago at least, it's an almost full skein. So it's 94 grams, but they are still the like must match socks, so they will still 100% match, which is amazing. And I'm going to knit him some wristers in the Harry Potter colorways. Now I know Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, all the stuff, but I don't necessarily agree with how everything went down and her opinions on things about certain things. I don't want to get into the details of it, but as far as the world of Harry Potter stuff, we do really enjoy those books and those movies. And I like supporting Mustache Yarns because she makes amazing yarn. So anyway, diatribe aside, these will be some Dream Fingerless mitts for my husband to video game in because he is too warm other times. He never wears gloves, even in like -20. So yeah, that is that. That is next on my needles. Because there's so much ribbing in it, I knit them on a size 0, which is a 2mm needle, which is very thin. Takes me forever. 2x2 ribbing is not my favorite, but it fits very nicely. So I will do it because he wants them. All right, let's move on to events. I have a couple events that I'm participating in, and they are things that I participate in every year. And the first one is Stash Dash, which actually started today, and I finished this hat this morning, so this counts as my first item for Stash Dash, which is very exciting. I've already put the project page together, and yeah, so it won't be much, but it'll be something. Stash Dash is an event where you compete against yourself to see how much you can knit or crochet or whatever yarny projects you want within a certain time frame. This year it goes from today, May 26th, to August 31st. You can go to the Knit Girls website to find out more details, but it's basically any project that you put some knitting into or crochet into and then complete during that time. So if you just have like 2 stitches to cast off, doesn't count. But if you're actually like knit a few rows and then cast off, you can count that whole project towards what you finished in that time. So my goal this year is 5K, 5 kilometers, and which is a lot, but also not a lot, because I will have a lot of driving time this summer. So we'll see, but that's my goal. And like I said, you can find out more details on the Knit Girls website. And the other one, which has a similar sort of thing, is the Splash Pad Party. And this is hosted by Downseller Studios, the same lady that hosts the the Pigskin Party, the football themed one, which has nothing to do with football, just it coincides with football season. But this one is just a 2-month knit along. I believe it ends on July 31st. So, but again, you can use works in progress as long as you're not just like finishing off one stitch, as long as you're knitting some of it, I think is the kind of general rule of thumb on that one. Again, you can check out all of the rules and information on how to enter on her website, which I will link down below. All right, that's it for events. Let's move on to chatter. For chatter this week, the first thing up is books. I have finished 2 books this week, or I guess in the past couple weeks, because I did not podcast last week or the week before. Yeah, so I finished The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. This is the second book in that series, and I have the first one on hold at the library. I listened to that on the Libby app. And then the second one that I finished is called Part of Your World by Abby Jimenzi. I think that's how you say it. And I also listened to this one on the Libby app. So 2 audiobooks finished. Sometimes that's all that I can make it through. I am so close to finishing the Sarah J. Maas book that I'm forgetting the name of. But yeah, so that is it for books. Keep tuned to this section for what I finish next. And as far as life stuff goes, the kids and I have been doing a D&D campaign that my husband DMs for us, and we have finished the story arc. We killed the dragon that was terrorizing the town, and yeah, it was really fun. There was a lot of strategizing, and in the end, we just attacked it and killed it in like 3 rounds. So. But it was an ice dragon, so it was like sleeping on the roof that was covered in ice. So we had to like figure out how we were going to navigate the ice. This was one of the kids' like first like real full campaigns, and my husband may have overdone it on the magical items that we found along the way. So we made short work of the dragon, and yeah, now we're on to the next one. I don't know what it's going to be yet or what our character is going to be yet, but it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to playing again with them. We also had Mother's Day here in North America, and I had a lovely day. We ended up having people stay with us. Mike's brothers were staying with us that weekend, but it worked out fine because they left early in the morning. And then we had a nice relaxing day, just hanging out with the family. We watched a movie, and then we went out for dinner with Mike's parents as well to my favorite Mexican place. It was so good. And at that particular restaurant, they have 2 kitchens. One is a gluten-free kitchen and one is a regular kitchen. So makes me very happy that is somewhere I feel very comfortable eating, and it's delicious. Delicious. Also, the weather, because I didn't talk about it in What Are You Wearing for some reason, but it has been all over the place. We had a couple days that were almost up to 30 degrees Celsius. We've had smoke. There are quite a few large fires in northern BC and northern Alberta, and the smoke is drifting all sorts of directions all over Canada. So there was quite a few days where it was really hot and smoky, and we were just like, you couldn't even go outside. Like, it was just immediate air quality warnings. It was bad, but it's gone now. I mean, it's a bit smoky still, but not like it was, and it is not as hot. I think today is like a high of 20 something, 23 or something, so much more reasonable for May. We brought our trailer home. We finished selling off all the other bits and pieces and had space to bring our trailer to our house, got it all filled up, and we took it out camping last weekend, which is another reason why I didn't record. Is that we were gone camping for the long weekend. So in Canada, we have Victoria Day, and which is always in May, and I didn't have to work. So we made a long weekend camping. We just had a really nice, fun, relaxing time. There were thunderstorms, there was sunshine, there was smoke, there was rain. It was all over the place. The kids had a great time. We broke out our paddleboard for the first time, and they just had so much fun. I did lots of sitting. We did walking around and stuff too. Just puttering around the trailer, kind of getting stuff sorted, and just kind of general trailer stuff. But it was a really, really nice time. And I think we have this weekend, and then next weekend, and then one more camping trip, and then we don't have anything else booked before we go on our trip on July 1st. But I am frantically setting up everything in the trailer. So we're trying to make it happen. We're having a few issues with our fridge not being cold enough. So we're working on a couple different options for that. And the freezer is definitely cold enough. And our outdoor fridge is cold, but it is like a regular bar fridge, and it only works on 120, and it has a compressor. Whereas the ones that work on propane, it works on propane or 120, and it's just not getting cold enough when there's food in it. When there's not food in it, it definitely gets cold enough. But when there is food in it, I don't know if it's the circulation or what. So we're looking at different options for fans inside there to kind of help circulate the cold air around. Everything else seems to be good. There's a couple little bits and bobs. One of our door straps broke, and we need to do some little futzing with our mattress. My husband is 6 feet tall, so having 5 inches less on the foot of your mattress is not great for him. His feet are hanging off the bed, so we're just trying to figure out what to do with all of that, and just to make it more comfortable for us. And I will be filming, hopefully this week, all of the kind of customizations and organization that I'm doing out there, and include that with you guys. That'll be a separate video, so if you're not interested in that, then you can skip that one. And I'll make sure to put all of the trailer specific stuff and the trip specific stuff into different playlists, so you can come back and watch them later if you want. What else? Yeah, just, I feel like we're purchasing a lot of things. Okay, another weird thing about our trailer. So it came with an outdoor kitchen. It's not something we wanted, but I could see the usefulness of it. It's got a little outdoor fridge, which is great when we're doing like the long weekend, when we're just like hanging out, because then I just put some waters in there for the kids, some juice boxes, some drinks for us, some bubblies, whatever. And then you don't have to traipse into the trailer when you're all yucky from the lake, and you can just grab a drink, grab a water when you need it. Love that. And it has some storage out there, which is good. It's got a couple drawers, so we can keep some things in there, that, you know, things that we just need outside that are quick access when we've got camp set up. It came with a bar that basically goes onto the bumper, and then you attach a griddle to it. Now, using a griddle is not something that we do a lot of. We could do burgers on it and stuff. You can definitely cook things on it, but it's meant more for like pancakes and stuff, because it's just a flat cast iron surface. It's not like a barbecue. Anyway, we thought it was a grill, but it was a griddle anyway. So we're not going to use that. So, and it was a lot of extra weight and hassle to set it up for something that we may use once or twice. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to sell that off. And we bought a new barbecue from Costco that is a camp barbecue. And we got a different attachment for the propane, because there is a propane line that goes all the way to that outdoor kitchen. So then we can just set the barbecue up on a table beside the outdoor kitchen and plug the propane from the trailer in, so we don't have to bring different propane tanks for the barbecue. That was very long-winded to say. We changed a few things, but now that outdoor space is basically going to be taken up with the new barbecue. So I can't keep other stuff out there, but that's not a big deal. The other thing we noticed this weekend is that our chairs, the kids' chairs were fine, but our chairs, we have like the director's style chair that's a bit more solid and has a little table on the side. They were covered in mold. I don't know what from, but because they've been kept in the garage, so it's not like they've been wet. But anyway, we wiped them down with Lysol, and it seemed to fix it for the most part. It was very surface. So I don't know, but so we're looking at getting some different chairs that are more compact. Because a lot of the time we will be sitting inside, but then it'll be nice if it's nice enough and not too hot, then we can sit outside, or too buggy. We'll see. So I would like to have outside chairs for that as well. I'm just rambling now about all the trailer stuff, but I will save the rest of the trailer stuff for another video. And I am going to go have a quick lunch and get back to work. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.